If you grew up with a Sega Genesis, you probably remember one thing very clearly: throwing punches. Lots of them. So today, we're taking a look at our top 5 beat-em-ups on the Sega Genesis. These games let you clean up the streets, smash through waves of enemies, and save the day with nothing but your fists, weapons, and maybe a little magic. Let's jump in. Starting off our list at number 5 is Mazin Saga, Mutant Fighter, a game that many players may have missed back in the day. This game is based on the Mazinger anime series, and it brings a unique twist to the beat-em-up formula. Most of the game plays like a traditional side-scrolling brawler where you fight through enemies across post-apocalyptic cityscapes. But when you reach the bosses, the game changes completely. Instead of a standard beat-em-up fight, the game shifts to a one-on-one battle system, where you take on giant monsters in intense head-to-head kaiju combat. You transform into a 60-foot-tall version of yourself, and the movement and the pacing really slow down, letting you feel the scale of these epic bosses. The side-scrolling levels are fast-paced, with quick player movement and attacks allowing you to vanquish wave after wave of enemies. Add in the bold anime-inspired visuals, and you've got one of the most underrated action games on the Genesis. At number 4, we have one of the most creative games ever released on the system, Comix Zone. This game doesn't just look like a comic, it takes place inside of one. You play as Sketch Turner, a comic artist who gets pulled into the pages of his own comic after a lightning strike brings his villain to life. The entire game unfolds across comic panels. It's easily one of the most visually unique games on the Genesis. But don't let the comic book style fool you. Comix Zone is tough. Enemies hit hard, resources are limited, and every fight requires careful timing. Still, its incredible art direction and the original concept make it one of the most memorable beat-em-ups of the 16-bit era. Entering the top 3 is Golden Axe 2. If you're a fan of classic fantasy, this game delivers exactly what you want: swords, magic, monsters, and plenty of enemies to smash along the way. Golden Axe 2 builds on the formula of the original game, but it improves the combat and magic systems. Players can choose between 3 returning characters, each with their own strengths and abilities. One of the most memorable parts of the series is the magic attacks. Collect magic books and unleash powerful spells that wipe out entire groups of enemies at once. And of course, there's nothing quite like knocking the enemy off of their creature and riding it around yourself into battle. Golden Axe 2 may not reinvent the genre, but it's a solid fantasy brawler that perfectly fits the Genesis library. At number 2, we have Streets of Rage 2. This game is widely considered one of the greatest beat-em-ups ever made, not just on Genesis, but in gaming history. Everything about this game feels polished. The combat is smooth and responsive, the character roster is fantastic, and every level is packed with memorable enemies and bosses. You can play as Axel, Blaze, Max, or Skate, each bringing their own fighting style to the streets. Even decades later, Streets of Rage 2 feels incredible to play. It's the gold standard for Genesis beat-em-ups. And finally, our number 1 pick, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. You can choose between all 4 turtles: Leonardo, Donatello, Michelangelo, and Raphael. The action is quick, the enemies are relentless, and the boss fights are classic TMNT chaos. While Streets of Rage 2 might be considered the gold standard for beat-em-ups, Hyperstone Heist better captures what I believe to be the heart of the beat-em-up genre: powering through waves of enemies and feeling like a total badass. The combat is easier and more approachable with larger hitboxes, faster progression, more level variation, and bigger waves of enemies. All this combined with TMNT makes it my personal favorite on the console. The Sega Genesis was home to some amazing action games, from comic book brawls to fantasy battles and gritty street fights. These games deliver endless hours of couch co-op chaos and arcade-style fun. I'm sure we missed some of your favorites. Let us know down in the comments. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to Super Collectible for more retro deep dives. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.